This rematch between Mousasi and Hall is fascinating, mainly because they're very, very different fighters. Uriah Hall's that explosive, X-Factor kind of fighter that can always pull a strange technique out of the bag and knock somebody unconscious. Gegard Mousasi has been campaigning for a long time. Even though he's still young, he's got nearly 50 fights under his belt. He's a very well-rounded fighter that can take the fight anywhere and dominate. Ever since Uriah Hall's knockout of Adam Seller on The Ultimate Fighter, people have been aware of the shoulder twist. As soon as they see that shoulder twist, there are two things that could be coming. The spinning hook kick, which is what knocks Adam Seller out, is the first thing that comes to people's minds, which would have gone in this case, the shoulders turn and the hook kick comes straight out and catches his opponent in the side of the head. Now, when he turned his shoulders against Mousasi, I'm assuming that Mousasi was expecting that hook kick that knocked Adam Seller out. But in actuality, when that happened, Uriah Hall threw a back kick to the midsection and Mousasi level changed onto the foot. It was very unfortunate, but it was a beautiful technique by Uriah Hall. So in this circumstance, as I see my opponent standing there, I'm gonna leap up on the spot and I'm gonna turn my body in the air and fire my back leg into his midsection. So as I'm standing here, my opponent's gonna step slightly towards me, bang, and there's the back kick. And what it's very good at is stopping your opponent in your tracks without giving any ground, because I'm generating all my force on the spot by jumping up and turning my power into him. If Mousasi wants to neutralize the most dangerous weapons that Uriah Hall has, he needs to close this fight down, push him up against the fence, and get the fight to the floor where he can dominate. Assuming Mousasi uses the same game plan from the first fight, he's going to try and back Uriah Hall up against the fence so he can work his takedowns. The one thing he doesn't want to do, though, is level change and shoot low, because that's when he's going to run onto a knee or possibly a spinning back kick like he did in their first fight. So what I would like to see him do, and what I've seen him do in the past, is step in behind a smoke screen of a jab cross. Once he's stepped in with a jab cross, he can step in and body lock. Now, a smart grappler, anybody in the UFC is going to do this. They're going to dig this underhook in, which can cause me some problems if I allow the underhook to get too high. What I want to do is clamp this down and get a grip together behind him. So now I have control of this arm and his body. From this point, I can suck his hips into mine, so I now have control of his body, and I'm going to lower my level. And as I lift him, I'm going to use my right knee here to bump into his leg and land straight into side control. From this position, I can start progressing to more dominant positions, mount, back control, and rear naked choke. If Mousasi makes it past the kicking range of Uriah Hall, the next line of offense he has to watch out for is the counter right hand. If you watch the Chris Lieben fight and the Ron Stallings fight, you'll see the same thing both times.
Oh, Uriah tags him with a clean right hand.
As we've seen with Gegard Mousasi, he likes to sweep his opponent up against the fence and take away that long-range offense so he can push him up against the fence, take them down, and work his ground and pound as submissions. So one of the main weapons he uses is lead jab. And as Uriah Hall's backing up, as this jab comes out, slip the jab out to the side, so he's loading this back leg now. This is working as a spring, and that allows him to fire the right hand back onto the chin of his opponent as their momentum's coming forward. If Mousasi is able to close the range and avoid the striking techniques of Uriah Hall, he's going to get this fight to the floor and likely progress to a mounted position where he's going to work to finish the fight. So Mousasi scored the takedown. He's found himself in mount like he normally does in his fights. From this position, he's going to start to rain down punches to make his opponent cover up And usually they're going to turn, they're going to give their back, like Uriah Hall did in the first fight. So as he turns, Mousasi's going to float, get the hooks in so he can control the back, and then from here he can continue to strike, deciding what he's going to do from this position. What we've seen him do before is punch the arm through, and as he rolls to his back, he can finish the rear naked choke here. What you'll see in the last fight is Uriah Hall's great submission defense in this position. As Mousasi got the rear naked choke locked up, you'll see that Uriah Hall reaches up and grabs the top arm and peels that off. That then makes my choking arm available so he can alleviate that pressure, and now I have no submission. A way for Mousasi to get around this is once he's got this arm sunk in, and that's nice and deep, when he puts this hand on the bicep, to punch this hand right into the back of his opponent's head. You can also use your chin to lock your own wrist down, and then there's no choking arm to reach for, and I'm going to get the finish.